Welcome back to Restore Thrive. We are talking about elbows today, dealing with elbow pain. Now, you've got two sides of your elbow that commonly will cause you problems. Most people are familiar with tennis elbow, which is pain on the outside of the elbow. What we're going to talk about today is the other side. This is commonly referred to as golfer's elbow, on the inside of the elbow. What we're going to show you is how to use a Voodoo floss band when you don't have a partner to help get some blood flow back through the elbow. Now this can be helpful whether we're talking about inside of the elbow or even the outside of the elbow or even the back of the elbow above the joint as well. What we know is that blood flow can really slow down through this part of your arm, and what the floss band is great for is jump starting blood flow into that area. Not only that, but if you've got particular areas that are stiff, that hurt to compress, this can be a great way to start to desensitize that area because of the high compression from the band. So, at issue today is what do you do when you don't have somebody like Dr. J, who's on the camera today, to wrap your elbow for you. So what we figured out is if you can get this band laid over the middle of your arm and get one pass where you can get the band to bite a little bit. So you can see how I have it laid over here, and I'll put my arm up to bring that farther down my arm. What I can do is cinch it up from here and start going up my arm. So you can see I've got a little slack at the bottom. I didn't hit it perfectly, but now I can really start to add pressure. And you can see I'm bending my arm towards my body as I get that band around my elbow. Now, if I'm just tight on one side, I always want to pull tight on the side and lay it tight on the side where it's tight. So if I'm going on the inside of the elbow, I'm going to pull down tightly. As I come across the inside of the elbow, I can do the same thing on the back of my elbow here, pulling tight as it lays across the back, or as I come up like we were talking about. And then from here, we just want to make sure that we get it tucked in. And I've got this tucked pretty tight. So once we have this in, what we found actually works best is not just flexing and extending your elbow, but remembering that you've got a bunch of nerves that run through your arm as well. So taking you through what we call our nerve glide medley. So we're going to start with our elbow bent in, and I'm going to extend out to the side and let my wrist extend. If I feel tension before I get all the way out, I can just work through the range that feels comfortable. We're going to use the number 10 for all the repetitions that we're going to do. So I'm going to hit 10 median nerve glides here. Then I'm going to come across my body like I'm tapping myself on my opposite shoulder, and I'm going to reach back and behind, put my thumb inside my hand and flex my wrist, and I'll come back and forth in and out of that position. You can see how I'm adding rotation as my arm passes behind my body from thumb up to thumb down at the back. I'll do 10 of those. Then we'll get into our ulnar nerve glide, which is the inside of the elbow. We'll do what we call a raise the roof glide. So I'm going to pull my fingers down towards my face. I should feel that winding up through the inside of my arm. I'll hit that 10 times as well. And then we're going to get into some different shapes. So we're going to do our disco move next. So we're going to start with our arm across our hip. We're going to reach over our shoulder. We can turn our head, rotate our upper body. I can flick my wrist back at the top to really start to wind things up as I get overhead. And as I'm doing this, I'm paying attention to, do I have good tissue perfusion here? If I press in on my skin, does the color come back within 5 seconds? Am I going numb? Is my hand tingling? I'm still doing all right. So after we do that disco move, then we're going to start adding a little bit of internal and external rotation with that elbow in front. Again, using that wrist as a driver to really accentuate that end range of motion as I go back and forth. And usually by the time we get here, we've had the band on for 1 to 2 minutes. You're going to start to feel like things are tightening up, maybe starting to get a little bit tingly. So we'll hit the release valve, let that band come off, shake the arm out. You'll see those tiger stripes along your arm, and you'll also notice some reddening of the skin, which is great because now we know we're getting more blood flow locally through the elbow. So give this one a try at home, guys. What we would recommend is that you do this for at least 3 rounds. If you got the time to do it, you can do this for anywhere from 5 to even 10 rounds if you've really got a hot elbow. So let us know what you think by leaving a comment below or find us at restorethrive.com.
And real quick, Tim, what is the break time in between rounds?
2 minutes.
Thank you. That's important.